Greetings, welcome to Jefficho Films. A sci-fi in space with a killer robot trying to wipe out a crew while they're trapped on their starship? Sign me up. Now there are 4 movies in this franchise. I decided to jump to the 3rd one because it's got Musetta Vander in it. I met her, lovely girl. So why not review Project Shadowchaser III?
I got something. She's giving off some kind of repeat emergency signal.
What does it say?
It's an international warning code to not enter under any circumstances.
Fine. I don't want to go in there. I just want to get the hell out of her way. Emergency systems up and active. We good.
Okay.
This movie starts out on board a spaceship where Tatiana is running for her life, and she made the fatal mistake of not running anymore. She claims to be Yuri's wife, but they don't believe her. They think she's something else. But then a laser shoots her from above, so it's a moot point.
She's the only one left alive. It has to be her.
Don't listen, Yuri. It's a trick. It must be done.
25 years later on Comstat 5, they're orbiting Mars and relaying transmissions from Earth to the outer colonies. And we get a dog that's playing space poker, and we learn that Snake is a cheater at cards. Also, Musetta's accent is Bay.
He's not bluffing.
It talks.
Well, I noticed that whenever he has a good hand, he always talks to Max.
I don't just talk to Max when I have a good hand. Max and I talk strategy.
Long-range scanners goes off, and there's a ship on a collision course. It's the Siberia, and it disappeared 20 years ago. The crew does their best to avoid the collision. They got a whole 20 minutes, so shouldn't be that hard. The ship is huge, but they get the engines off in time to avoid the collision, but then the Siberia changes courses and hits them anyways. Tanya doesn't fare too well, but let's be honest, if that can happen to her, then you probably have a serious air leak. They have to drag Danny away from her before the section blows up, but it does, and Danny goes for a spacewalk without a suit. Now they're going to break up into Mars orbit in about 20 minutes, so they decide to ignore the warning not to board the Siberia and jump aboard there. They go on there with their suits, but once they realize the air is good, they decide to take their helmets off. What about an onboard virus? There's literally a warning telling you not to go on a ship. The door of the main computer room is torn open, and they find a frozen dead guy inside, and Rhea seems upset when she reads his name tag, because it's her daddy. Lennox is almost killed in an explosion when they start flipping switches to reactivate the computer, and Rhea grabs a key card from the frozen dead body. I also like how Max the dog looks like he's actually monitoring the computers. There's an unknown life form among the crew, and I think it has hostile intentions towards the captain, but I'm not quite sure. Rea's inability to find cover during these explosions kind of makes me feel she deserves to be killed. Also, they get back aboard their ship because I guess flipping switches fixed their ship too. We learn that Siberia visited the planet Juno, and the professor says they found an alternative fuel source. He also says that the nuclear reactor is unstable, so Renko, Snake, Max the dog, and the professor all go aboard the ship. Rhea watches the tape, but it upsets her because Yuri was her father, and that's where he died. Kody tries to comfort her. They find some cylinders and assume it's the fuel, and Rhea says an advanced Proto-5 android got infected by a virus and started killing everybody. That's less exciting than a creature, but yeah, you take what you can get. Also, I think Max is my favorite character. I see the android likes to taunt rather than kill efficiently. Not very android-like. Also, the professor is acting kind of creepy. I think he's been assimilated or something. And Renko knocks out Kody because he wants to steal shit. Rhea, looking around with the professor, finds the professor's body, so it looks like the android can change its shape. Also, I think it wants to go back to Earth. That's kind of its mission, so they can destroy all life, I guess? Why don't they shoot it, though? Rhea and Kody get locked out of Comstat 5, but then they just force the door open, so they're fine. But everybody's looking for D. Max barks, and Wheels, because he's in a wheelchair, that's why they call him Wheels, goes looking for D. And then his wheelchair goes out of control and drives him straight out an airlock, where he dies.
Go on here.
Airlock depressurization sequence initial 3, 2, 1.
The android is clearly aboard the ship and it's taken Dee's form, but Lennox isn't convinced, even though it's using this strange, like, manly voice. And then there's some really kinky kissing stuff here. I like how everybody's pointing the gun at it, but doesn't shoot it until it grabs a gun and starts shooting at it. Eventually, Kody shoots some explosible barrels, and that kind of hurts. But the android's actually taken no damage. All it's really done is depleted the oxygen levels, which I appreciate the show realizing that in space, if you cause fire on your ship, you're gonna cut down on your oxygen levels. It also walks right by Kody, but doesn't see him. Rea takes Renko and Snake to the infirmary to fix up their wounds, and then Kody knocks on the door and he tosses Max's collar to Snake, making us think that he's dead. Bastards. He also mentions that the strobe light made the android not see him. That's kind of cool. So Rea never actually fixed up Renko, so when Snake and Kody and Rea go aboard the ship to deal with the android, like, he's laughing because he's like, oh, I'll operate the strobes, but dude, if you don't operate the strobes, you're gonna die next.
Renko, do you hear me? Do it now.
With pleasure.
But he actually does do it, and the android just walks right by them suspensefully. But then he deactivates it because he's an ass and he runs for the escape pod. So Snake decides to electrocute both himself and the android, and they fall over a ledge and explode.
You killed my only friend.
Everybody wanting to get to the escape pods now, and Kody sees Renko, and they put their guns down and have a fist fight. But then the ship starts to explode around them, and stuff falls on everybody, except for Renko, who seems unscathed, and he grabs Rea and hits her.
Come on! Get! Don't touch her!
I'm not going anywhere with you.
The android, still alive, manages to sneak up behind Renko with no legs and punches through his stomach. How'd it punch through his stomach if it has no legs to get up that high from the angle? I'm just saying.
Rea! Go!
Kody manages to shoot it and Rea helps him free. The ship forgot that it was exploding and starts exploding again, and they make it to the escape pod, and Max turns out to still be alive and runs and gets onto the escape pod too. I hope he doesn't turn out to be the android.
How do I know it's really you?
Well, I guess there's only one way to find out for sure.
They escape and the ship behind them explodes, and is this a bad ending or adorable? I don't know. I vote adorable because, Max.
That's really weird.
Frank Zagarino was in the first 3 of these as the android, and I think he played a different one each time. I gotta say, I wasn't a big fan of how the android was executed. I don't know whether you blame him for that or whether... No, you would blame the writing for that for sure, yeah. It would not taunt. If it's infected by a virus and just start killing humans, it's not gonna taunt them and play these stupid games. Especially when it's a superior tactical advantage over them. That said, Frank's been in some interesting titled movies. Cyborg Cop 3, Blood Warriors, Project Eliminators, The Revenger, Train to Kill, Striker, Hammerhead, Warhead, Without Mercy, Never Say Die. That's an interesting catalog. Christopher Atkins was in The Blue Lagoon. I think that was his first movie. Lucky guy, Brooke Shields. Ricco Ross was in this. He was also in the first one, but as a different character. Christopher Neame, who played Renko, was also Jarek in Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2. He did Babylon 5, Doctor Who, a Voyager episode, 2 episodes of Enterprise. So, I respect you, bro. I thought I liked you.
Kody, there's a big problem.
What is it?
It's a professor. He's gone. I can't find him anywhere. So is Snake and Renko.
Damn Renko. He's got shit for brains.
And last but not least, Musetta Vander. Although they didn't utilize her in sexy ways, aside from the accent, she still adds a lot to the 3rd installment of this sci-fi franchise. In the end, this is a by-the-numbers sci-fi that I'm not sure anybody today would bother to watch. I like that they were ticking boxes for certain things, but I started to really notice in some of these sci-fis that they don't start ticking some boxes, which makes me feel like it's a lesser film than some of the other bad sci-fis I watch. So I wish they could have just done that. So, if you want to watch it, check it out. I'm not sure anybody will. I'm not sure you will be able to chat it with your friends. Nobody will want to hear you talk about this. Hopefully they want to hear me talk about it, though. Well, as always, thanks for watching.